Hello, I am Catherine Wooler and this is my Community Engagement Plan. The purpose of this plan is to outline who could and should be engaged in the process of this research project. The focus question of this research is the following. What model, tool or approach will enable existing teachers to develop an effective pedagogy for technology integration? With the increase in BYOD, or bring your own device, in schools around the globe, and in particular in New Zealand schools, brings the rise to the challenge of ensuring that teachers are ready and willing to effectively integrate technology in their teaching in a way that meets the needs of our current and future students. While the current New Zealand curriculum that was written in 2007 made it clear that schools should explore not only how ICT can implement traditional ways of teaching, but also how it can open up new and different ways of learning, it is not until the push of BYOD that has put further pressure on schools to do so. As Elliott, Campbell, Mokopolo and Armour, as cited in Goodyear, Casey and Kirk in 2014, suggest, in acknowledging rallying calls for pedagogical change, we also should consider that there are few opportunities for teachers to be adequately supported in changing their practice. This research is focused on finding the most effective method for supporting teachers in this journey of pedagogical change that is required to effectively integrate technology in their teaching and learning. In order to carry out this research, it must be recognised that various communities, each with their own part to play in this process, are integral to helping shift the mindset of educationalists, as well as the skill set and pedagogical understanding of existing teachers. The communities of most importance in this study are existing teachers, school principals and senior management teams, head of departments or faculty, specialist classroom teachers and students, with the most important being existing teachers. It will be important to look at these communities in a number of different schools around New Zealand to ensure that results are valid, but initially this research project would be completed in one school. In working with existing teachers, it will be just as important to look at teachers from all the following categories of Rogers Bell Curve of technology adoption life cycle. While teachers that are early adopters have valuable information to share about their journey to effective integration of technology, those that are late adopters and laggards will potentially yield the most valuable information. Discussions with school principals and e-learning leaders would centre around the sharing of the e-learning planning framework as a place to start for both evaluation and the planning of an e-learning strategic plan. Also ensuring annual plans include the integration of technology in teaching and learning, and that an e-learning strategic plan is in place to help ensure that an e-learning program moves forward positively, and also to ensure that there are few roadblocks to teachers and students' use of technology. Staff involved in leading e-learning team leaders or the like, will need to ensure that an e-learning vision is created that identifies what the school will be working towards achieving. An example is given here of the one created by Westlake Girls High School, the school that I'm currently at. The process for consulting with staff to create this shared vision is an important process to identify. Senior management teams will need to be involved in discussions around technology integration. Without leadership teams on board and the support of this process, little progress will be made by teachers, as very little emphasis would be placed on technology integration by senior management teams. Many senior management teams often oversee a department or two, as shown in this diagram. Focused involvement by senior management in this role will convey the message to faculties that integration of technology is an important focus and must be a focus of their teaching. Heads of departments or faculties have one of the most influential roles in encouraging teachers in their departments to integrate technology. However, they have the opportunity to encourage this through embedding technology within schemes and units of work. It would be interesting to know whether this has more influence than just encouraging individual teachers to use technology in their learning and teaching. Specialist classroom teachers also have a significant support role to play, particularly in the late adopters and laggards categories. Their involvement in this research will aid teachers in moving forward. Their work with teachers on this may centre around the use of one or more models of technology integration, for example the SAMR or TPACK models, as discussed in my literature review. There is much data that could be gathered through this process with a specialist classroom teacher. In particular, what model or method seems to be most effective with the late adopters and laggards. Students, while an important part of this whole picture in that the outcomes of teachers' improvements in technology integration can result in improved learning, an increase in technology skills and confidence, students' involvement in the research itself will be minimal. Evidence of community scoping. Upon the completion of the literature review written by this author, Catherine Willer, this author shared the literature review with the principal at Westlake Girls High School. The most significant feedback from her was about how important subject-specific professional development was in this process, and that the feedback after a whole year school PD, which was focused on technology tools in 2014, was that departments now needed time to develop technology integration in their subject areas. In addition to that, was that professional development now needed to be subject specific also and pedagogically based. Discussions have this week taken place with the senior manager that oversees teaching appraisal process at Westlake Girls High School, and also discussions around whether the registered teachers criteria actually assesses teachers on the integration of technology in their teaching. Her comments were that to meet the criteria 4 of the teacher registration, which is to demonstrate commitment to ongoing professional learning and development of personal practice, this would require teachers to be up to date with current pedagogy and teaching practices, which would obviously include technology integration. Following on from this discussion, it was found that within the Ministry of Education TKI website, there are substantial resources identifying how e-learning can be used to meet all of the registered teachers' criteria. There has been a number of steps this author has already taken in this process at Westlake Girls High School. In Term 4 of 2014, teachers also completed a survey evaluating their technology integration and the use of the SAMR model. And it also began the process of staff consultation on the e-learning vision. A copy of this can be seen here, that staff reflected on the SAMR model, and they also had an opportunity to reflect on how their integration of technology has been in 2014, and the final thing they were involved in was creating the e-learning vision for 2015. This new e-learning vision can be seen here. Shortly after the staff set the e-learning vision, they completed a review of 2014 BYOD program within their departments and set department goals for 2015. They were also required to identify what support they required for the following year. Within this section, most departments identified that they would like the e-learning facilitator role to continue in 2015. This was a very clear mandate to continue with a support system that they felt worked extremely well in supporting teachers in 2014. An e-learning facilitator was a staff member who was generally an early adopter of technology who chose to be involved with their departments. A copy of the English department review from 2014 can be seen here. They had goals in 2014 that they set. They reviewed that goal, looked at the e-learning vision that they had set as a staff and worked on a goal for 2015. And they made a list of support structures that they felt would help them in achieving that. In response to this feedback, the senior manager responsible for teaching appraisals and professional development and the e-learning team leader, myself, have set up the year for 2015. The teaching appraisal setup is going to be using the teaching as inquiry model, and professional development time will be given to departments to work on this plan for teaching as inquiry with a focus on technology integration. E-learning facilitators will continue in 2015 for supporting teachers to achieve department and personal e-learning goals. In assessing the relevance of this research, professional development discussion took place in 2014 on the SAMR model that teachers can use to evaluate and understand the levels of technology integration in teaching and learning. This was used in an effort to help teachers understand that technology is capable of more than being just a word processor. This model has been mentioned again already in 2015 with regards to teaching appraisals and technology integration. This is important to help teachers understand the types of PD on offer in comparison to 2014. The potential impact from this research is that staff will progress along the SAMR model faster with the most effective support systems and models available for use, that there will be improved teaching and learning experience involving technology integration. The research question would be refined to what model or tool approach will enable existing teachers to develop an effective pedagogy for technology integration. It will be important to make decisions on which models are most suited and which research shows the most effective in supporting teachers. This will be the SAMR model as identified in my literature review. It will also look at the impact from e-learning facilitators, specialist classroom teachers, development PD time, and whole school PD time. In terms of gathering data, staff will be provided with a number of different types of support, and throughout and at the end of the year it is intended that staff again reflect as individuals and as part of a department on their improvement in technology integration. As part of this, it will require them to identify which support method or opportunity had the most impact on them. It will be important to look at which support system or method was most beneficial at different levels of the technology adoption cycle. In presenting and implementing the research project will be presented first and foremost to the principal and senior management team, then to the e-learning leaders, facilitators, heads of departments and teaching staff. Feedback response will look at it should inform the annual plan, the e-learning strategic plan, professional development plan and e-learning department goals for 2016. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.